Hello and welcome. You're watching AD4 TV Radio News Update, coming to you live from Abuja, Nigeria's capital. I am Adirayo Senami. Governor of Abia State, Nigeria, Okezie Ikpeazu, has tested positive for COVID-19. Commissioner of Information, John Okikalu, announced the case in a statement on Monday. Recall that on Saturday, the 30th of May, Governor Ikpeazu volunteered a sample for COVID-19 test and subsequently directed members of State Executive Council and Interministerial Committee on COVID-19 to submit themselves for the same test. The governor has gone into isolation as required by relevant NCDC protocol and directed his deputy, Right Honorable Udo Okochukwu, to act on his behalf. There was mild drama at the popular Ojoba market, Akure, Ondo State, Nigeria, over the weekends as a lady allegedly diagnosed with COVID-19 in Imo State was found selling second-hand wear, popularly called Tokumbo. She was subsequently arrested by the state government's task force on COVID-19. Speaking on the arrest, the Ondo State Health Commissioner, Dr. Wahab Adigbinru, said the lady, after being diagnosed with virus in Imo State, ran to Ondo State, despite the interstate lockdown. Both state governments mounted a surveillance which traced her to the market. The commissioner said contact tracing of the patient's family, friends and neighbors has begun and urged all and transacted business with to report for diagnosis. Ondo State has so far recorded 4 deaths and discharged 21 patients, while patients currently receiving treatment at the infectious disease hospital. South Sudan's first Vice President, Riek Machar, and his wife, Defense Minister Angelina Teny, have recovered from COVID-19. The two tested positive for coronavirus 3 weeks ago and have since been discharged after a second confirmation test returned negative. The two leaders are, however, expected to resume their active public duties anytime soon. Across the world, United States Special Representative for Afghan Reconciliation, Zalmay Khalilzad, and Pakistan's Army Chief General Qamar Bajwa held talks in Islamabad on Sunday to discuss the commencement of a peace process between the Afghan government and the Taliban, as violence has begun again after a brief ceasefire was announced 2 weeks ago. The US and Afghan Taliban had signed an historic agreement in February aimed at ending the US's longest war fought in Afghanistan since 2001. Khalilzad expressed his appreciation for Pakistan's role in bringing the Taliban to the negotiating table, and both countries agreed peace in Afghanistan offers an unprecedented opportunity to advance security, connectivity, and development for the region. Meanwhile, former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin, under whose watch George Floyd died, will make his first court appearance on Monday afternoon. Chauvin was arrested last month and charged with second-degree murder and second-degree manslaughter. The other 3 officers involved in Floyd's death, Thomas Lane Jr., Alexander Kweng, and Tu Tao, were charged with aiding and abetting second-degree murder and aiding and abetting second-degree manslaughter. We'll now take a short break. We'll be back shortly.
I am a refugee from Rwanda living in Kenya, but I'm also a nurse working on the front line during this COVID-19.
I'm a refugee from Iran living in Sydney, Australia. I'm also a civil engineer running online series of live conversation with doctors for the community.
I am a refugee in Ghana, but I'm also a nursing student. I help my community to stay safe by sharing useful information on COVID-19.
I'm a South Sudanese refugee living in Nairobi, but I'm also a communication officer giving timely and verified information on COVID-19 to my community.
I'm a refugee from Burundi living in Rwanda. I'm also a refugee college guidance counselor providing support to refugee students during this pandemic. I do it for you.
I do it for you.
I do this for you.
I do it for you.
I do this for you.
I do it for you.
Welcome back. You're watching AD4 TV Radio News Update. The National Association of Resident Doctors, NARD, has issued a strike notice which will take effect from Monday the 15th of June. The national president of NARD, Dr. Aliu Sokomba, in an official letter said the strike will be total regardless of the current pandemic, as the action has become necessary due to the failure of government to redeem its pledges, especially in the areas of salary arrears and working conditions. The National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, has intercepted 3,136 tons of cannabis sativa on the Okene-Lokoja Expressway in Kogi State, Nigeria. Head of Public Affairs of the agency, Jonah Chema, in a statement on Monday in Abuja, said the illicit substance was intercepted in a truck heading to the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. The state commander, Mr. Alfred Adewumi, assured Nigerians that the NDLEA will ensure that all suspects are arrested, as the agency had been at the forefront of ensuring that those still in the drug business are brought to book. Children were seen returning to classrooms on Monday in South Africa as part of a gradual loosening of lockdown restrictions, even as some parents worried that not enough had been done to protect the health of pupils. The reopening of schools was delayed after teachers' unions urged school staff to defy the government's order last week, saying schools lacked sufficient health and hygiene measures to keep educators and pupils safe. However, Basic Education Minister Angie Moshegza on Sunday said ramped-up efforts to equip schools over the past week shows that 95% of South Africa's primary and secondary schools were now able to host classes. The biggest teachers' union has dropped its resistance to the reopening. South Africa has recorded nearly 50,000 cases of COVID-19, the highest of any African country, along with almost 1,000 deaths. Iranian physician Majid Taheri returned home on Monday after his release from jail in the United States as part of a prisoner exchange. The doctor, who'd been detained in the U.S. for 16 months, was freed on Thursday, as Iran also released as a swap U.S. Navy veteran Michael White, who was imprisoned in July 2018 after being convicted of insulting Iran's supreme leader and posting private information online. Taheri is the second Iranian to return in a week after being detained in the U.S. The de facto leader of Samsung Group, Jay Lee, appeared before a South Korean court on Monday, awaiting a ruling on whether new allegations, including accounting fraud and stock manipulation, will send him back to jail after more than 2 years of freedom. This comes after prosecutors on Thursday asked the court to issue an arrest warrant against Lee, bringing to a climax an investigation into a controversial 2015 merger of two Samsung affiliates that they said helped facilitate Lee's plan to assume greater control of the group. And that's it on 84 TV Radio News Update, coming to you live from Abuja, Nigeria's capital. You can join the conversation on our website at www.84tvradio.com. Please follow us on our social media platforms at 84 TV Radio on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn and Instagram. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at 84 TV Radio. Many thanks for watching. I am Adirayo Senami.